We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. To secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, diverting their powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive to these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish. Now, I always get a great kick out of that part of the Declaration of Independence, because now you're not going to have a country that can make these kinds of rules work if you haven't got men that have learned to tell the difference between human rights and a punch in the nose. It's a funny thing about men, you know. They start life being boys. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if some of the senators here were boys once. And that's why it seemed like a pretty good idea to me to get these boys out of crowded cities and out of stuffy basements for a couple months out of the year and build their bodies and their minds for man-sized jobs. Because those boys are going to be behind these desks someday. And it seemed like a pretty good idea getting boys from all over the country, from all nationalities and all ways of living, and getting them together. Let them find out what makes different people tick the way they do. Because I wouldn't give you 2 cents for all your fancy rules if behind them they didn't have a little bit of plain, ordinary, everyday kindness. And a little bit of looking out for the other fella too. Well, that's pretty important and all. It's just the blood, the bone, and the sinew of this democracy that some great men handed down to the human race. That's all that is. But of course, if you've got to build a dam where that boys' camp ought to be, just to get some gaff to pay off some political army or something, well, that's a different thing entirely. No, if you think I'm going to go back there and tell the boys of my state, look now, fellas, all this stuff I've been telling you about the land you live in, it's a lot of hooey. This country, it belongs to a lot of James Taylors. No, not me. And if anyone thinks that I'm going to be doing that, they've got another thing coming. Well, I'm sorry, gentlemen. I know I'm being disrespectful to this honorable body. I know that. A guy like me should never be allowed to be in here in the first place, right? I know that. And I hate to stand here and try your patience like this, but I'm either right or I'm crazy.